live. Mr. Producer has done it again. We are live. This is The Righteous Edge, and I am your host, Jack Bravo, where we are unapologetically Christian and uncompromisingly masculine. Let me say something, and I've been trying to calm my anger a little bit, but I got to talk about this. One of the reasons we want to go live is because I hate a lot of these Christian channels on YouTube. They are weak, they are not masculine, they don't address the issues. They sit up and they want to talk about every little thing, but they don't give the godly man's perspective. They sit and wait for somebody like me to do it, and I'm going to do it because I'm not scared. All these other people and a lot of these other channels, they have these weak perspectives where they got their little thumbnails going, oh, I can't believe so and so said that. But they don't really give a Christian perspective on anything. They have to, they all they do is milk other people's content. It's going good. All they do is milk other people's content. They don't say any perspective that's Christian. Let me tell you something about what the Word of God says. If you represent the Word of God, if you are a true Christian, the world will hate you. I'm not over here to be loved. I'm over here to tell the truth. If you happen to like what I'm saying, cool, support the channel. And if you don't, you need to hear it even more. So I'm getting tired of all these weak Christian channels that act like weakness and softness and being a wuss is a virtue. It's not. We need to bring masculinity back. Christianity is the perfect belief to do it. And we are called to be warriors in reading Ephesians chapter 6. We're supposed to be the warriors that carry the truth to the world. We're not supposed to be letting everybody else do it. We're not supposed to be the ones cowering in the corner crying because we can't address these issues. We can address any issue the world does, and we should be addressing it. And because of that, because we have such a weakness in Christianity right now, then it's somebody like me who's going to have to take the mantle and carry it for the next generation so that they can see. Because here's another reason: people love to dig up dirt. And I talked about this on one of my shows that's going to be coming out. People love to dig up dirt. They dug it up on Kevin Samuels when he was saying things that were absolutely true when people did not want to hear it. What did they say? He's been divorced 2 times. I haven't been divorced. When somebody else comes up and says the truth, especially if it's a right-wing commentator. Oh, he has a child over here. He been through this bad relationship. We dug up some affair he had. I don't have none of those things. So what are you going to say when it comes from someone like me? All you're going to do is hear people say, he looks like this and he think he that. Prove the argument wrong. If you have a problem with anything I say, challenge me. Reach out to me. Come on my show. I'll let you on. I have no problem with a confrontation. In fact, I enjoy it. And here's part of the problem with these Christians nowadays is they want to go along to get along with all these people. I see people like Lecrae. I don't like him. He's weak. He's soft. I don't like he doesn't stand for anything. He's up any little movement that the black community is for, he's for it too. And so yeah, I don't have no problem. And I will say that to him on the show. I don't care. And the problem is like, yo, at some point, Christians have to stand for something. Supposedly is supposed to be the word of God. But since people are so cowardly not to stand up for anything anymore, you need somebody like me who's gonna be bold and take it too. We're supposed to be the light in the darkness. We're supposed to destroy the darkness. Somebody has to take it to the darkness. We have to go into dark places and shine the light. And that's what we're here to do. So there's been a lot of topics and social issues that have come up. One that I have seen permeating society that has not been talked about, especially amongst a Christian perspective, not enough at least, is the audacity of modern women, including Christian women. A lot of Christian women nowadays have such a swelling sense of pride that they fat heads can't even fit through the church doors. How do you even get into church with your head so big? And you kind of got to wonder who's deflating your fat head. At some point, somebody gotta come do it, don't they? Because if you just let this sense of pride go on and they just think they the best thing to ever exist on the planet Earth, God's gift to men, they just think they are. And nobody challenges this. They sit here and flutter around and talk about what men ought to be. And then you shine a light on them and shine a mirror on them and say, well, you ain't all that. And then they get hurt. Well, I'm here today to do that very thing. I've seen a post and I'm just like, this is insane. Mr. Producer, we could prep that video, the audacity video with a young man. And I guess I'll probably see it on screen when it's up. But just to give a little context to this video, it's a video of a young man and he's in shape. He's looking good. I'm trying to work on my weight right now. I'm trying to get in shape. I'm trying to get back to what I was when I was wrestling and fighting and boxing and doing stuff like that. I'm trying to get back into it. He's in good shape. Look at this young man. Now look at the response that he gets. You know what? I'm gonna have to pull up that video just so I can read some of these responses. Look at that. So these he's showing the responses from in the evil responses he's getting, and then he's showing the ladies and what they look like. So one of the responses, just to give you context, says, "I hope he doesn't think he looks good." Wow. That's the responses. All of them are in that nature, trying to put this young man down. Here's another response. His entire personality is ego gross. What? No. How can you say that when all I have to do is click one? If you go on Instagram and put the search page right now, it ain't nothing but girls in booty shorts twerking all in the camera, so you can see each crevice of every little indentation of their cheeks. And then you don't have nobody saying nothing. But yet a man shows his arms and they feel like they gotta rip him down to size. And then when you look and you look back at them, they ain't nothing to look at. Let's just be real. Ain't none of them even mid, to be honest. Where does that audacity come from? And it's a problem in the church as well, because a lot of these women claim to be Christians in the church. They come up in the church and they say, well, I just want God to give me a man. And you be like, you're 250 pounds. What man is gonna carry you down the altar and he can't carry you at all? What is going on here? The audacity of these women to think that they are better than. Let me just. Hopefully, y'all got to read some of these comments. It wasn't that I was even going to talk about this, but then I seen so many things within the same realm. You want to pull up the old lady audacity picture, and this one really hit me because I'm like, how do you not see reality when you look in the mirror? How do you not see that? Is there a possible way you can look at your own life and say, I'm just fine, and you look like this lady looks? It's called old lady audacity. And so as soon as you pull that up, what we're gonna see is an older lady that has the audacity. It's not coming up. It is an old lady. Maybe I could show it on my phone or something. And it says, I spent my savings on an elite matchmaking agency only to meet an array of mediocre men. If you look at this lady, I don't know if you can see my phone. She is a mediocre older woman. She's mediocre. She's not she's not a looker. Let's just put that. Since we can't get it up on the screen, I'll describe it to you. She is a mediocre woman. She's not a good-looking woman. She is over here saying, let me read this again so you can fully absorb it. I spent my savings on elite matchmaking agencies only to meet an array of mediocre men. What would cause her to think she's not mediocre? There she is. Okay, there she is. Just in case y'all didn't believe me and y'all really thought she was like fine. This is a lady saying that she is just tired of all these mediocre men. She just can't stand that all these mediocre men are out there because she's obviously beautiful, right? She obviously just, is so far above what a mediocre man would be at. There's no possible way a mediocre man could look at her and say, I'm on the same level as her. What's wrong with these people? Who in their right mind thinks and looks at that girl and says, you deserve, and here's a problem that I have with a lot of women. If you're a Christian, you shouldn't lie, for one. But if you're a Christian woman and a woman's like this friend, you should tell her the truth. And you kind of have a duty to do that because she's going to be a lot more sad at the end of her life when she can't find a mate because she's going for Chad. She going for the dude with the chiseled jaw and the six, you know, with rock solid abs, and he's 6'5", and then she wonder why she can't get him. And her friends, this is the problem I have with a lot of women. Her friends will come along and say, he doesn't deserve you. That's a lie. He deserves way more than you. You're disgusting. That's what you need to hear. And people don't want to say that type of stuff because it hurts women's feelings. And then they go off and cry and say they don't like your tone and how you talked and you shouldn't have delivered the truth in that way. But then she can call the whole race of men mediocre. She can call the majority, let's not put words in her mouth. She didn't call all men on the planet mediocre. But she said all the men that on her dating apps are mediocre. That's disgusting, dude. She's mediocre. She should accept that. So let's just see what is the real problem here. Where does the audacity come from? Well, first of all, if you can you pull up the James verse, Mr. Producer? While you getting that up, let me just explain that a lot of what we're dealing with now has been talked about in the Bible. Let me read that. James 4:6. But he gives more grace. Therefore, it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. You know how you receive grace as a woman that thinks too highly of herself? Go back down to your level and you might find a good man. That's how you're going to receive grace from God. The reason why you probably getting played, the reason why you probably getting ran through, the reason why you probably getting stood up on dates is because you're proud. You think you're at a level up here and you're going for men that are way up here and you think you deserve that rather than coming back down to your level, accepting your old mediocre men for your old mediocre self, having a good mediocre life, having some mediocre children, and being happy. That's what you need to do. But they ain't doing that. Let's read the other verse if you can. We'll be pulling up Luke, the Luke verse. Says, for everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. This is for men and women. I'm not just talking, but I see this as an epidemic amongst women. And because people so scared of women in the Christian community, we don't address it. I'm going to address it. Many women are far too prideful, and God is humbling them by letting them die alone. They're dying alone. Nobody's coming to save them. We got a nice comment here. Oh, cool, cool, cool. What does it say? Pride is the devil. It definitely is. I would say the devil is prideful, but yes, it's in the essence of what you're saying is true. It's the downfall of a lot of mankind, is it not? Pride. These women think that they just the best thing ever. I never went through life just saying, man, If a woman don't like me, she just lame. She mediocre. I'm so far above these women out here. I never thought that. There is a hierarchy to life, and I understand that. But to think that you are so far above everybody when you're clearly mediocre, it goes to show you something built that mindset within her. And it's so many women that have it that you kind of got to wonder what is it about it. And let me say this. Here's what I believe the problem is. And we can pull up study number 1, Mr. Producer. And I looked up a bunch of different studies here. And you'll see, yeah, study number 1. A study from OKCupid reveals that women rated 80% of male users as less than medium attractiveness, while men's rating of women followed a more typical bell curve distribution. Women love to say, well, what about the men? This is not a man problem. This is a woman problem. This is a woman problem. Men, we struggle with pride in one way, but women struggle with pride in this way. Look at what's going on here. So it says that average women are looking at 80% of men and labeling them as average or below. That's insane. Now, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that a woman should go out there and open her legs for any old person. That's actually the opposite of what I'm saying. What I'm saying now is that it's not an epidemic of women not having sex. That's not what I'm seeing. It's not an epidemic of chastity. That's not what I'm seeing. It's not an epidemic of women saying, I refuse to give my body to anyone until I'm married. That's not what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is woman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going to one man and saying, we all deserve Chad. We all deserve Tyrone. And the rest of the men, they're not on our level. So they all get played. And then at the end of their life, and when they 45, with they wine and they kittens, then they want to turn around to a godly man and say, I just don't know where the good men have gone. I've been praying all my life. All my life. Like, what is that movie where the purple, the color purple? Yeah, the color purple. You told Harpo to beat me. They be crying like somebody did something wrong to them. You made bad choices. Your pride was too big. Your pride was too big. Don't sit up here and look and blame men like me. I've been married ever since I was 22 years old. Here's another if we can go to number 2 study here. Disparities in swiping behavior. The difference between men and women in their swiping behavior. Data from my fault. Swipe stats indicates that men swipe right, indicating interest, far more frequently than women. Men average of 16,368 right swipes, and women average of 2,283 right swipes. Despite this, women match rates are significantly higher. Women's average of 30%, 30.7, men average match of 2.63. What does that tell us? If you want to break this down in just as simple a term, if you're not with math, 1 out of 4 women, if you that's rounding down a little bit because 1 out of 4 will be 25%. It's 30%, so it's a little more than that. 1 out of 4 women, everybody they swipe on, they get that match. 1 out of 4. Imagine if 1 out of 4 girls you hollered at as a man said yes. That's some record numbers. Women, the average woman, 1 out of 4 of them, they say, "Oh, I like this dude, and this dude, and then this guy," and this guy says yes. 30%. What is men's swipe rate where they get a connection? 2%. Out of 100, they get 2 that might like them, that they might be able to set up a date with. Now, if the culture wasn't so degenerate, we could point out even more problems, but the reality is, like I said before, women are not saying no to sex. They're just saying no to sex with average men. They're just saying no to sex with 98% of men. And then they're all going towards the top 2%, which shows like they all think they deserve that top 2%. And have no mistake, they don't feel lucky that Chad is taking them on a date. They don't feel lucky. They feel like that's what they deserve. When Chad takes them out and bones one day, and bones the next day, and bones the next the third day, they all feel like Chad is doing something wrong, which he is on his from his perspective, but they all feel like he's doing something wrong because they all deserve him. Instead of they're all giving him access. They don't take the responsibility on themselves and say, it's 98% of men out here that kind of I should be looking at. Maybe they have good character. Maybe they're good fathers. Maybe they would be good companions. Maybe they would love me. Maybe they would protect me. Maybe they would provide for me. Maybe we could have good families. Nope. All that's out the window because they like 2% of the dudes who are the most attractive they can ever possibly get. That's sad. That's a pride issue. Let's go to the next statistic. 3, high selectivity. That's number 3, right? Yeah. that picture, that picture is funny. No, it's cool. That picture is a fat oaf. Man. A girl like that still think she can get any dude she want. Anyways, I seen a girl like that on a show, and she was like, "I'm fine." I think they call her Gorlock the Destroyer. I don't know if it's a man or not. It has a man type face, but it's just a hideous being, a wildebeest, just a despicable specimen of a human. I don't even know what you call it, an abomination. It's disgusting. And it was talking about how it's fine. I wanted it to get out of my face. So high selectivity leads to low match rates for men. Men approximately, this kind of reiterates what we just talked about. Men approximately one match per 140 swipes. Women approximately one match per 10 swipes. That's incredible. Let's go to the next one. Preference of top tier profiles. And that's going to be study number 4. It says here research indicates that women tend to favor a small percentage of highly attractive male profiles. For instance, the only profile out of 100 was liked by more than 80% of women in any given study. Suggests that a strong preference for top tier profiles, that there is a strong preference for top tier profile. So when you see a lot of these women, right, especially because we've given over society to secularism rather than Christianity. Christianity tells us that, God will lead you to your mate. They're going out there and they're trying to find them themselves by getting out there on all these dating apps and swiping people, treating them like, ordering a meal. They're treating relationships like I'm picking out a side for my burger or something. They're swiping and they're like, no, not attractive. No, not attractive. And they do that 100 something times. And then they finally find somebody who's like the top of the top, the most Chad of all Chads. And then they say, that's the one I want. Well, all of the women are doing that. Look like we getting some comments or something, huh? Yeah. Mr. Producer? Just a couple. Yeah. You want to read some of those off? Because we love the people who comment. So we had one before from Michelle Kenner said average at best. Yeah, I think Kevin Samuel went viral when he said that. Average at best. Now, I'm not going to say who that person is, but I'm just saying here now that a lot of women believe that they are above average, and really, it's nothing wrong with being average. It's nothing wrong with saying, yo, this is insane to think that you're not average. The average means the majority. Was anybody said? That's right. America. Yeah. That's right. All America out. You know what? I mean, I ain't gay, so I ain't gonna wear no Canada outfit. Who do you think I am? This is America. This is America, right? So here's the last study, and this is gender ratio imbalance. If you want to pull that up, it's the study number 5, and it's gender ratio imbalance and how it intensifies competition. Tinder uses base Tinder users base comprises approximately of 75.8 men and 24.2% women, creating a competitive environment for male users. Now, you got to discuss why that is. The reason that is because women don't have to go on dating apps to find somebody. They can just walk out in the parking lot and a man will hit on them. That's just the reality of being a woman. That's nothing to be mad at. If you're a man, you realize you're the hunter, you're going to have to persist in finding a wife. That's just part of being a man. If you at home eating chips and, not lifting weights and not developing yourself, don't think a wife is going to knock at your door and say, "Would you marry me?" It's not going to happen. So part of that is just a reality of men and women. But let's read the rest. This imbalance may contribute to women's increased selectivity, as they have a larger pool of potential matches to choose from. Now, women's selectivity is nothing wrong. Let me just say it like this. For a lot of the red pill dudes who get the red pill rage, and they say things like, women are overly selective. You don't understand. What I'm talking about is the pride issue. I'm not talking about this idea that women should be sleeping around or this idea that women should just accept whatever. No, women should look for the best man they could find and then they should marry him. It shouldn't be no, well, I want to find the best man I can find and then sleep with him, and then my friend's gonna find the best man, which is the same guy, and then sleep with him. And then you create a market of where the top guy sleeps with every woman and no other man gets every woman. Now, I've heard some arguments against some of the things I'm stating. And a lot of it from feminists come from a stupid place of, well, you must want women. You can't get, I'm married. I could care less what happened to a lot of these people. Some of these people don't deserve no relationship. They've been losers. They're going to stay losers. And I'm talking about dudes. A lot of these loser dudes are going to stay losers. They don't deserve a relationship because they don't want to better themselves. They don't want to do anything. And that's fine. Then you'll die alone too. But a lot of the women are going to die alone, not even knowing what the problem is. The problem is the world lets men know what's wrong. If you a loser, when I was a loser back in the day, long time ago, my friends was like, dude, you being a loser. Get your money up, dress nice, smell good, go out, meet somebody. My friends will let me know, dude, you being a loser. Or you staying home this weekend, dude? You soft. You a weak, you loser. They will let you know right off the bat. Oh, you dressing like that? You dressing with them bummy shoes? You ain't gonna get no girls. Men let each other know. The problem I have with women is they don't. They will sit here with a friend, and the friend will be 300 pounds looking like a beluga whale swamp donkey. And then they'll wonder why. I don't understand why Jenny is alone. She's such a great personality. She's so cute. And Jenny be stuffing a double bacon cheeseburger down her throat like it's the last bacon cheeseburger on earth. And then they be wondering why they act like they don't know why. If women started telling each other the truth, I think we would have better prospects. We would have more marriage, especially if you call yourself a Christian. Here's another thing. I think we went over all the verses. But and this is the last thing I'll say on this issue before we go to the next issue. The video perfectly encapsulates that women feel that they have a right to tear you down, but the other way around could never exist. And what I say, women will say, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Women are being torn down on the internet all the time. Actually, no, they're not. If you go on Instagram right now, you will see some girl in her little spandex yoga suit, and every single comment will be positive. It will be positive. And not one comment will be, hey, you shouldn't be dressing like that. Or not one comment will be, hey, you're kind of fat. Not one. They'll all be heart eyes and love your babe, love your curves. all of the comments will be positive. That does something to you because the internet is destroying people's sense of self. It's destroying their ability to critique themselves. My wife and I was talking about it because one of the things that's destroying women's ability to critique themselves is filters. Women put a filter on Instagram and they think that's who they are. I don't understand that. I can't fathom that. But it's true. It's really happening. Women are putting filters on Instagram and they think that's the equivalent of me being like, I'm gonna put on a Batman costume and now I'm Batman. I'm gonna fight crime. Who would be that stupid to think that way? But a lot of women do because they what they put online is what they really believe themselves to be. And I think it would behoove us as Christians, if you're a Christian watching this channel, to not be so engulfed in pride that it destroys your potential future. Let me go to our next topic. Uh, Mr. Producer, we going to what liberals think. Isn't that the next one? We said we was going to. Yeah, yeah. This talk came up, and I saw this thing online, and a lot of people have been discussing it, and I just thought, I don't know if they really addressing the real issue here, because this thing went viral, and it was such an ambiguous thing to have happened because statues get made all the time. Are they not? They're made. People make statues all the time for monuments, for, important people in history. Sometimes they just make a statue because it beautifully fits at a, perfect place in the city or something like that. Representation of something, representation of something, representation of something. And here's the problem. What is it representing when they make a statue, Mr. Producer, if you want to pull any other the pictures up of statue one, you got to ask yourself, what is this a representation of? Is it up there now? Is that picture?
Yeah, full screen.
What is this a representation of? Shaniqua? Is that you, Shaniqua? Who is this woman? This I tried to think about it like, what could this possibly represent here? What does it mean to have a statue like this? As a black man myself, I'm thinking, does this represent our community? And if it does, what does it say? And I thought it was a perfect song I had heard a while ago that represents what I felt. And it goes something like this. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Have y'all heard that song? Liberals don't care about you. If you a black person and you think they gonna represent you, if you think they care about you, if you think they love you, if you think they give one iota about our community, this is what they think about you. You want to put picture number 2 up of the statue? This is what they think about us. When they have a chance to represent us, they put this up. A fat, homely, ugly woman. And they say this is the representation of black people. This is what we want to put in the city for everybody to come look at and say, yep, that's black folk right there. A fat, homely, hideous swamp donkey of a woman with hair that doesn't even look like it belongs.